We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today is Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton. He has asked the governor to call a special session about the various COVID-19 practices across the state, particularly about wearing masks. Mr. Speaker, it's been a few days since you sent the letter in. The governor's indicated he'll try to make a decision probably sometime next week. What do you feel? What do you think the chances are? 50-50 he'll call it, or greater than that, or less than that?
Well, we'll see. I'm not putting odds on it. We'll see what the governor does. We'll see what the Senate does. I'm not sure the Senate wants to come in for a special session. We'll see over the next few days or weeks and see if the Senate wants to come in for a special session or not. It takes two bodies to do it. The governor can call it on their own, so we'll see what happens. Your
counterpart in the Senate, Randy McNally, the lieutenant governor, Speaker of the Senate, seems to be the one saying, well, he thinks the school boards do a pretty good job and they're the ones that should be making those decisions to keep kids in classrooms. He believes they should make that choice. How are you going to convince him otherwise?
I'm not trying to convince the lieutenant governor. He has his opinion, and I respect his opinion. He's a great individual. But I also think that if the school boards impose a mask mandate on parents, parents need to have at least the minimal option of opting out. And so I'm hopeful on that endeavor.
The governor says, so far, he said he believes, as you do, that the opinion of the Attorney General is that school boards have the right to impose mask mandates if they want to do so. He's mentioned before, even after he's heard you're going to do this, and even at the letter, that he still believes that he didn't say anything at all about calling a special session. Does that indicate you still got some things to do to convince him? He's got a couple of his commissioners who basically still think that school boards ought to be making those decisions, not the General Assembly.
Look, we're not trying to convince the governor to call a special session. What we did is we had 74 members of the House Republican Caucus who have listened to their constituents in their district all across the state, who have different things that they would like for us to address. Time's of the essence because school has started. And as we saw, if you wait, then it makes it harder as you go forward to try to put things in place if you need to. My job is to put forth what the House would like to see. It's up to the Senate if they want to do the same, and it's up to the governor to make the call. I'm not trying to convince them. I'm just trying to tell them where the House is.
Your letter to the governor did not mention a bill that you've talked about that would add another school voucher program. You oppose the school voucher program that's currently in the courts under some controversy. Why did you not mention it in the letter to the governor?
Because the letter to the governor, as I said earlier, we didn't talk about the solutions or the directions we want to go because you need to have debate in the House. And a lot of times you put forth solution in committee and we'll change and evolve, and then when it gets to the House floor, you vote on it. This letter was simply about listening to Tennesseans, listening to moms in Tennessee and parents in Tennessee who have issues with what's going on and asking us if we can maybe potentially help them and listen to them. And the only way to be able to do that is to go into special session if the governor deems it and if the Senate wants to.
Vouchers over the years have been sold as a situation where lower income families can help escape failing public schools. Will your voucher bill have those same kind of income guidelines, or will it be available to all families who want to take advantage of it?
Well, I don't have a voucher bill. But what I will say is if school boards impose mask mandates in their systems, parents need to have options. I think the ultimate decision holds with the parents to making those decisions for their child. If, for example, they impose a mask mandate, the parents should have options to opt out of the mask mandate. They should have an option maybe to move their kid from one public school to another public school out of county, or they could have the option to move their kid from public school to private school to homeschool or to something else and take their money with them in this instance. And so those are the options that we can discuss. Whether or not we can get them to the House floor and to the Senate to agree on it, I don't know. But what I do know is parents need to have the options, and these decisions lie with them and the moms and the dads, not with the school boards in the end.
You mentioned time is of the essence, but a lot of things you talked about within what might be a voucher program would take a while to set up. That wouldn't help time being of the essence.
You give people options that they can choose from, and then you go from there. The first option, the quickest option, is an opt-out. Public to public school is a quick option if there's openings. But what you do is you are focusing and allowing parents to make the choice that's best for their child. Right now, you have school boards dictating to parents what they can and cannot do. They do have the authority under state law, but the parents need to have choices and options if they disagree with that decision and what they think is the best interest of their child.
In terms of the independent school board, the independent health boards that are across the state, there are a few of them. Here in Nashville, Mayor Cooper and the health board have put a ban again on, they want everybody to wear masks inside any government building. Is that something you think the laws of the legislature might consider taking away the power for them to be able to do that in their own buildings?
Well, currently Mayor Cooper doesn't have that authority because the governor took that away during the executive orders that were put in last year. Only the independent health board in Metro has that capability right now, as well as the other 5 in the state. And we don't think we think that's too much power for unelected bureaucrats. And we have solutions. We passed a bill in the House this year to deal with that. Unfortunately, the Senate didn't get it to the Senate floor to help us curtail those things. So it's an issue again. And I don't think the business community is willing to sit there and allow a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, tell them that they have to have people walk into their business wearing masks or doing whatever over their objections. The business owners need to be in charge of their businesses, and these independent health boards need to be curtailed back.
What would you do about private? Would you tell private businesses they could not have a ban on masks in their own buildings? And what about a vaccine mandate? Are you going to put those off limits as well for private businesses? We never told private businesses that they had to do a mask mandate. I think that's their decision, that's their choice, it's their business. Whether or not they want their employees to be vaccinated, that's a decision that the businesses need to make as well. All I'm saying is you have an independent health board that's unelected, that has so much power that the governor did not grant, that the mayor of Nashville does not have, that can impose things on businesses and people with no recourse. In the General Assembly, we passed the bill this year in the House to take care of it. Unfortunately, the Senate did not. I hope they will take it up next year, or maybe we can do this in special session and really bring some levity to this and allow people to be in charge for themselves. Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton is our guest on Inside Politics. Back to continue our conversation with the Speaker on the other side of this break. Stay with us.